B2B commerce is a massive, massive industry, and on a day-to-day basis, we tend to think much more of B2C consumer, but businesses transacting with each other is a massive multi-trillion-dollar market. And we are laying the modern infrastructure and the rails on which we expect a lot of commerce, substantial commerce, to flow through in the coming years. And Crstl is playing a very, very important role in modernizing and transforming those rails. The vision for Crstl is to build a modern B2B commerce network. If we take a step back, entrepreneurship is really the lifeblood of this country. And small and medium business owners, but really business owners of all sizes, are the backbone of it all. And as these business owners go out there to bring their product really in the hands of all of us. So let's say you are a toothbrush company that had been selling directly to consumers through your website. And now you decide that it's time to grow the business and you want to sell your product through Target and Target.com and Whole Foods and a variety of different retailers and marketplaces. All of them have business rules that they would expect this toothbrush company to comply with, primarily as it pertains to the movement of goods and the movement of money. Historically, there's been a lot of technical jargon used when describing the solution, and that we find that really isolates the customer from feeling like there's an accessible solution available to them. So my background is in building data products at scale, and I had done that over a number of years in the advertising technology context, online marketing context, and then in the logistics context. And COVID hit 4 years ago, and I banded with a few folks, and we stood up this nonprofit to help alleviate the PPE shortage in the US. And I helped stand up the digital storefront in the US. So the idea was, once these products landed at the port of LA, how were we going to get it to the dentist's office, the medical residents, the frontline workers, barbershops? So we ended up building a storefront on Shopify, and I ended up spending a lot of time in the Shopify ecosystem as a result. Started talking to a lot of brands just to understand what their challenges were. And it turned out that data fragmentation was a massive challenge that every single brand I talked to was facing, because there was data fragmentation happening, and customers were just feeling like they did not have a single pane of glass to understand what was going on in their business. And as we started to build towards that and bring that product in the hands of our customers, a recurring theme and a recurring pain point that we sort of kept running into was that this backbone that all of these businesses, small, medium, large, relied on to work with some of their biggest business customers was just broken. They were new brands, but all the solutions that they saw in the market around this retail compliance problem were outdated across multiple key dimensions. And I looked more and more into that and came to realize that actually this was a great opportunity to apply my background in building data products to an underserved area that's really looking for something much, much better. The analogy I often use internally and with our customers and prospects, Yahoo Mail was the only real email application, maybe Hotmail. And then Gmail came along, and it was a decidedly much better product across multiple dimensions. So we are building for now, in what is an existing product category, in what is a very large market. And we think that we're going to win because of our maniacal focus on bringing a better product and pricing to a market that's been really pining for something here. I mean, I think a better product really involves customer empathy and really understanding what the market needs are, what the gaps in the market are, and what the customer needs are, right? It is probably more art than science, right? And so we have to constantly be thinking about, how does our product and platform minimally be the least frustrating part of their day? So we have about half a dozen values that we were very intentional in picking and expounding on in terms of what that means to us. But I'll mention a few. The first is customer obsession. And while that may sound cliched, I think it's very, very important that it's embedded in the DNA of the company, right? So for example, I anticipate that we are not going to have a single dedicated person whose job is customer service, right? We deeply think that that is everybody's job. and thinking about and anticipating customer needs is really important, because ultimately that's what brings the team together. That's what gives us purpose, and that's the business that we build, right? The next one is champions mindset. And startups are hard. Starting a new company from scratch, really starting any endeavor from zero, is very hard. There's going to be failures. There's going to be setbacks, and easier said than done. But you have to sort of get up and show up the next day, right? And that sort of grit is, I think, in my experience at least, it's learned, right? We come from different backgrounds, we've had different life experiences, but just remembering that setbacks and challenges are just part of this type of journey, especially, is super important. And the third one I will share is continuous improvement, right? This is the idea that maybe there's a process that we follow today that may not make sense in 3 months. And we should never have to feel like we have to follow these processes because somebody came up with them 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. And how we adapt ourselves with times can only come if every single day you come in and say, what's broken around me, what deserves to be fixed, what deserves to be improved. And anyone can do that. The people you hire is the team you build is the company you build. And there's no formula for being innovative, right? But the idea is that everyone should be thinking about the problem very, very deeply first and making sure they really understand that. And often creative solutions emerge from understanding the problem really well and also being aware of the constraints around you. I think, therefore, that only when you really understand the problem and you really understand the constraints around solving that problem will innovative solutions emerge. And I think in the next 5 to 10 years, we will become the new standard for B2B commerce, not just here in the US, but globally.